Dear pupils, parents and guardians, let me start by thanking you for being a part of all our remote learning platforms, particularly our television program, The Classroom in Your Home. Each feedback has been awesome. Good job, you. Our teachers have been working assiduously to bridge the learning loss during this critical period. Therefore, I am pleased to inform you that the Classroom in Your Home has been extended to accommodate the lower primary classes and a dedicated lesson to cater for our special needs pupils in line with our mandate of providing an all-inclusive and quality basic education in our dear state. Please encourage your wards to tune in and take every advantage of this laudable program. Also remember, this pandemic is not over. Let us continue to abide by all health and safety guidelines as stipulated by the government. At LASUBEB, we are determined to leave no child behind in our quest to improve the standard of basic education in our state. Thank you.
Hello pupils, you're welcome to another edition of your favorite program, The Classroom in Your Home, a program organized by the Lagos State Government and packaged by the Lagos State Universal Basic Education Board, LASUBEB. It is to ensure that you're academically engaged in addition to what you're learning in school, and I call that blended learning. I am Auntie Fumi, your English studies teacher, and as usual, I have with me your wonderful teachers.
Hello children, I am Uncle Agbaje, your mathematics teacher, but you know me as the math magician.
Uncle Popo is here, your general studies teacher.
And we are also privileged to have our sign language interpreter, Uncle Niyi, and together
we are bringing the classroom into your home.
Please stay tuned. Welcome to Auntie Fumi's class. In our English studies lesson today, we will be looking at the second part of the topic we started in our last lesson. That is Concord. Yes, Concord. But before we go into the learning objective for today, I gave you an assignment. Did you do it? Did you do your homework? Then, let's do the correction together. You were asked to choose the correct answers from the bracket. Did you get everything? 5 out of 5? Then I must celebrate you with a chair. Good job, you. Now to the learning objective for today's lesson. Don't forget I said we're going to look at the second part of the topic we started, which is Concord. So by the end of this lesson, you should be able to say some basic rules. We started with those rules in our last lesson. You have to say some basic rules governing the agreement of subjects and verbs. You should be able to say some basic rules governing the agreement of subjects and verbs. Not only that, you should also be able to observe the use of concord correctly. Just what we did in our last lesson. We're going to continue. We'll move a step ahead. Are you ready? Sit back. Your writing materials. Then let's begin. We're going to look at the first person, the second person, and the third person singular and plural forms. The first person, second person, and third person singular and plural form of words. Look at this first person singular. Here is an example. I go. First person singular. I go. If I'm to make a sentence, I will say, I go to school every day. I go to school every day. That is talking about the first person singular. The first person plural becomes we go. We go. We go to school every day. That is talking about the first person singular and plural. Now, second person. Second person singular will give you something like you go. You go. And when it comes to the plural form, it still remains you go. The plural of you is you. First person, the second person singular, second person singular, you go. And the second person plural still gives you go. Now to the third person. The third person singular, you have he, she, it. He, she, it. That is talking about the third person singular. And you have examples like, he goes to school every day. He goes to school every day. The go now becomes goes. When we're talking about the third person singular, she goes to school every day. She goes to school every day. The subject he, the subject she, and the verb becomes goes. That is what we talk about, the subject agreeing with the verb. And if you are to use it as a third person singular, you can have an example like it goes fast. So he goes, she goes, it goes. That is the third person singular form. And if we are looking at the third person plural form, it becomes they go. They go to school every day. So, I believe you understood what I just said. The first person singular and plural, the second person singular and plural, and the third person singular and plural form of words. I go, first person singular. First person plural becomes we go. Second person singular, you go. Second person plural, you go. And when it comes to third person singular, you have he goes, she goes, it goes. And third person plural, they go. Did you get that? Are we together? Together we are. Let's move on. Now we are continuing with the basic rules governing the agreement of subject and verb. You remember we started that in our last lesson? Let's move on. Another rule is that expressions such as anybody, anyone, each of, everybody, everyone, nobody, none, no one, somebody, someone, they are all singular and must be followed by verbs in the singular. Note the words again. Note these expressions again. Anybody. Are we reading together? Let's go. Anybody. Anyone. Each of. Everybody. Everyone. Nobody. None. No one. Somebody. Someone. They are all what? They are all singular. And they must be followed by verbs in the singular. That's what we talk about agreement. Concord. Singular must be followed by verbs in the singular. Examples. Let's look at these examples. Everybody is making noise in the class. Everybody is making noise in the class. It is incorrect for you to say everybody are making noise in the class. Incorrect. The correct way of saying it is everybody is making noise in the class. No one is permitted to go out. No one is permitted to go out. Singular, singular. That is what we're talking about, Concord. Each of the boys has books. Each of the boys has books. Not each of the boys have books. No, it is incorrect. It is the correct way of saying it is each of the boys has books. Everyone is invited to my birthday. Everyone is invited to my birthday. Another rule is that a singular or a plural verb is needed when two singular or plural subjects are separated by neither, nor, or either, or. I want to take that again. A singular or a plural verb is needed when two singular or plural subjects are separated by neither, nor, or either, or. Let me show you what I mean by that. Look at the sentence. Neither Tolu nor Tayo is dark in complexion. Neither Tolu, singular, nor Tayo, another singular word, is. The verb now is in the singular too. Is dark in complexion. Another one. Neither Niyi nor Rashid speaks Igbo. Neither Niyi nor Rashid speaks Igbo. Either yam or beans is what I want. Either yam or beans is what I want. Neither James nor his friends. Now talking about the plural form. Neither James nor his friends. Friends now is in the plural form. Were there. Neither James nor his friends were there. The plural of are is were. Another rule is that subjects like all, both something and few, many, several, some, they require what? Plural verbs. They require plural verbs. Examples. All the children are wanted. All the children are wanted. All is the subject and it requires plural verb. And that is why we are having are as the verb. All the children are wanted. Both the farmer and the hunter are brave. Both the farmer and the hunter are brave. You know, I told you what subjects like all, both, something and. That's why we're having this example. Both the farmer and the hunter are brave. Few of the men speak Yoruba. Few of the men speak Yoruba. It's evaluation time. In our lesson today, we've been looking at the rules guiding the use of subject and the verb. Talking about agreement between the subject and the verb. So it's activity time. How attentive have you been in the course of the lesson? Will you be able to stick to the rules? Will you be able to obey the rules so that you'll be able to speak correct English, make sentences with the subject and the verb in agreement? Then let's try it. Choose the correct answers. Each of us dash carrying an umbrella. Each of us dash carrying an umbrella. Is he carrying an umbrella? Is carrying an umbrella, or we are carrying an umbrella? 2. The headmaster sent for you and the senior prefect, but neither of you dash in. Is it neither of you was in, neither of you were in, or neither of you are in? Number 3. Dash of the men were rich. Dash of the men were rich. Is it every of the men, a few of the men, or only one of the men were rich? Number 4, dash there when the rain started. Dash there when the rain started. Is it somebody were there, somebody was there, or many people was there when the rain started? And the last one, both of them dash allowed to do the test. Both of them dash allowed to do the test. Is it both of them were allowed, or both of them are allowed, or both of them was allowed? Let me give you 20 seconds to write just the answers. Your time starts now. By now, you ought to have finished writing the answers. Let's have the correction now. Auntie got 5 out of 5. What about you? 5 out of 5 too? Or 4? Or 3 out of 5? You are all awesome. You are amazing students. And you must be celebrated with a cheer. Good job, you. Now to what Auntie Fumi loves most, that is assignment. To every assignment, there is a gift. So when you do your assignments regularly, definitely you'll be called upon as winners of gifts, different gifts. You have 10 seconds to copy this assignment before we sign out for today. By now, you must have finished copying your assignment. Make sure you do your assignment, and when you're submitting, indicate your name, your school, your class, and your local government. There will be no way you will be called for gift if those things are not indicated in your assignment. And that's it for today. We have come to the end of the English lesson for today. Did you have fun learning Concord? I did too. But it's time for me to hand you over to the mathematician for a beautifully packaged mathematics lesson. But don't forget, Auntie Fumi is always proud of you. Well done, children.
Hello, children. You're welcome to this segment of the program, The Classroom in Your Home. It is mathematics time, and that means it is time to have some fun. I am Agbaje. Today, we will continue our work on financial math, and that is the money math. It's all about money today. This time, we're going to be talking about rates. Today's learning objectives. By the end of the lesson, we're going to be talking about rates today, so you should be able to appreciate the applications of rates in the society. Should be able to calculate fixed rates, and you should be able to calculate variable rates. What do all this mean? What exactly are rates? Well, let's begin. Rates are fees that are paid by businesses or by homes to the government, but they are not based on annual income. They are based on the services that you get from the government. For instance, if government provides you with water, pipe of water, then you have to pay what is called the water rate. If you have a building anywhere in any part of town, you have to pay what is called the tenement rate. If you're using a stall in a public marketplace, okay, you have to pay some amount for the use of that stall. That is what we call rates. Okay, so our own problem today is now to see how rates are calculated and how we can calculate some by ourselves. Let's look at an example. The tenement rate, that is the amount that landlords pay for putting their building in a public place. It's not the same thing as your what do you call it? The tenant payment to, it's not your rent that you pay to your landlord. The landlord, the owner of the building, pays the tenement rate to the government. Now, the tenement rate paid by landlords to the local government authority is 6,850 naira per house. One house pays 6,850 naira. Find the amount collected on 175 houses. And so, how do we do this? Well, we know that one house will pay 6,850 naira. Two houses will pay 6,850 naira in two places. Three houses will pay 6,850 naira in three places. Now, 175 houses will pay 6,850 naira in 175 places. And so, instead of adding 6,850 naira by itself, in 175 places, remember the shortcut. We simply have to multiply. And so this is a multiplication problem, my friend. 175 houses will pay that amount in 175 places. That is 6,850 times 175. And when we are able to solve this, my friend, we have gotten the answer to the problem. But let's go and calculate it. I'll open the workboard here. Okay, so the first thing we do, I want to use the Chinese method here. So we have 6,850, then we have 175. These are the numbers that we want to multiply. So remember that we'll put a line in between each number and partition the box like so. Now we put a diagonal in each box, then we are ready to start multiplying. Look at this box. I'll multiply the number on top, 0, and the number by the side, which is 1, and I'll get 0. And the same thing here, I'll get 0, because 0 times 7 is 0, and here 0 times 5 is 0. Now let me come to this column. 5 times 1 is 5, so I write 0, 5. 5 times 7 is 35, so I write 3, 5. 5 times 5 is 25, so I write 2, 5. I'm just using this to remind you of the Chinese method, not that you cannot multiply. Then I come to this column. 8 times 1 is 8. 8 times 7 is 56, I write 5, 6. 8 times 5 is 40, so I write 4, 0. And I finally come to this column. 6 times 1 is 6. 6 times 7 is 42. 6 times 5 is 30. Now remember that all we have to do now is to add diagonally. Okay, so here we are left with 0. Here we have 0 plus 0 plus 5, which is 5. Along this diagonal, we have 5, 0, 0 is 5 plus 2, and that gives us 7. Along this diagonal, we have 0 plus 5, which is 5, plus 3, which is 8, plus 6, which is 14, plus 4, which is 18, plus 0, which is still 18. So I will write 0 and carry 1. So I carry 1 to the next place value. All right, so 1 now plus 8 is 9. 9 plus 5 is 14. 14 plus 2 is 16. 16 plus 3 is 19. So I will write 9, and then I carry 1 again to the next place value. 1 plus 6 is 7. 7 plus 4 is 11. So I write 1 and carry 1 to the next place value. And 1 plus 0 is 1. So at the end of the day, I read my numbers like this. Okay, so I have 1198750. So we'll go back to so it's 1198750. Therefore, 175 houses will pay 1,198,750. It's a simple multiplication problem, really, and all you have to do is just to multiply. Now I'll give you one to try by yourself. This one says that Just Local Government Authority charges 2,500 naira per month for each market stall hired by a trader. One market stall, 2,500 naira. Find the rent paid for 400 stalls. You have 1 minute for this problem. I expect you to use all the shortcuts available to you. Begin. Did you get the shortcut you were supposed to use? Let's see how it's done. It's still a multiplication problem. Just local government authority charges 2,500 naira per stall for each month, and we're to find the rent paid by 400 stalls, or paid for 400 stalls rather. And so it's still a multiplication problem. The rate for 400 stalls will be 2,500 naira in 400 places. That is 2,500 naira times 400. So, but what is the shortcut? Well, all we have to do is to multiply 25 here, that's the significant digit, and 4 here. Now 25 times 4 is 100. We remember that 25 times 4 is 100. So there is no need to even draw the table of Chinese multiplication. So then we had how many zeros? 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. And our final answer is 1 million naira. 1 million naira. That is the amount to be paid for 400 stalls. Is that what you got? Let me just erase that so that you can see. Okay, so 2,500 times 400 is 1 million naira, and that is the amount to be paid for 400 stalls. Did you get that correctly? Excellent job, you, my friend. Now, let's see this one. For instance, look at this problem. In Ikorodu local government, residents pay water rates as shown in the table. Water rates are what you pay for using water that is supplied by government. Okay, so if you use 500 liters, then the rate per liter, 1 liter will be 5 naira for the first 500 liters. So if you use 500 liters or less than that, your rate will be 500 naira per liter. But anything after 500, the next 500 liters that you use, you will now pay 6 naira 50 kobo per liter above the first one. So first 500 liters, you will pay 5 naira per liter. Anything in excess of that, you will pay 6 naira 50 kobo. Now, by the time you use up 500 liters, which is 1,000 liters, the next 500 liters that you're going to be using, you will no longer pay 6 naira 50 kobo. You are supposed to pay 8 naira per liter. And now, by the time you accumulate 500, 500, 500, that's 1,500 liters. If you use anything in excess of that, anything more than 1,500 liters, you will now be paying 10 naira per liter. This is a variable rate. It's not fixed at a particular amount. So what is the problem? The problem now says, find the water rate paid by Mr. Ade's family if their usage for March is 1,200 liters. How will we calculate this? Well, it would be wrong to say that, oh, 1,200 liters, that falls in this third one, and so all the liters will be multiplied by 8. No. Let's see how it's done exactly. So, the rate says that the first 500 liters that Mr. Ade's family uses, they are going to be paying 5 naira per liter. And so, 1 liter, 5 naira. 500 liters, that is 5 naira times 500. That is simple enough. The 5 liters times 500 is 2,500, because 5 times 5 is 25. Then you put 2 zeros. That is done for the first 500 liters. But the second 500 liters will not, they will not be paying 5 naira per liter for that. How much will they be paying? They will be paying 6 naira 50 kobo per liter. So after treating, paying for the first 500 liters, they have to pay for the second 500 liters. That's the next 500 liters. That one will be paid at 6 naira 50 kobo per liter. And since they are paying for 500 liters, that will be 6 naira 50 kobo per liter times 500. And so we're going to multiply 65 by 5. Okay. So it's 3,250 naira. The zeros are for kobo, and since we don't have anything there, we'll leave it blank. Now, Mr. Ade's consumption, we've calculated for the first 500 liters, for the second 500 liters. Now, how many liters have we not paid for? Since he used 1,200 liters, we have paid for 500 and 500, that is 1,000. He still has to pay for 200 liters. And that 200 liters falls within the third category. So for that 200 liters, he will have to pay 8 naira per liter. Don't mind the fact that it's not up to 500. It still falls within this category. We've accounted for 500 and 500, so the 200 naira falls within the next 500. So we'll have to pay 8 naira per liter for that. And so the next 200 liters now will be 8 naira times 200. No need to open the workboard. 8 times 2 is 16. Then we'll put 2 zeros. And so that is 1,600. So for the first 500 liters, we will pay 2,500. For the next 500 liters, we will pay 3,250. And for the next 200 liters, the remaining 200 liters, which falls within the third category, it will pay 1,600 liters. But how much is it going to pay in total? Of course, it is the total, so we have to add everything together. And so the total rate will be 2,500, 3,250 plus 1,600. Let's calculate that. Now, that's 2,500. Now, 3,250. And then 1,600. Now, adding everything together, we have 0, 5. Now, 5 plus 2 is 7. Then 7 plus 6 is 13. Now, regrouping 1, 1 plus 2 is 3. 3 plus 3 is 6 plus 1, that is 7. And so, altogether, the man has to pay 7,350 naira. So that's 7,350 naira, my friend. So it's as simple as that. You have to break down his consumption into levels: 500, 500. If you still have more 500, then anything above that is 10 naira per liter. Now I want you to take one of your own for your second class work. The same table. Find the water rate paid by Mr. Ade's family if their usage is actually 900 liters. You have 1 minute. Begin. Alrighty then, I believe that you are done. Well, since it's the same table and the same rates, I believe you found it very easy. So let's just see how it is done. The first 500 liters, of course, is still going to pay 5 naira per liter. And so for 500 liters, that will be 5 naira times 500, which is still 2,500. 5 times 5 is 25. Put the 2 zeros. Now, having paid for 500 liters, we are left with 400 liters. And that 400 liters falls within the second category, a second level. So it will pay 6 naira 50 kobo for that per liter. 6 naira 50 kobo per liter, and he has to pay for 400 liters because his consumption is just 900. 500 plus 400, 900. So 6 naira 50 kobo for 1 liter times 400 liters. And so we need to calculate that. Let me just open the workboard here. 6 naira 50 kobo times 400 liters. So I'm just going to multiply 65 and 4, which are significant digits. 65, then 4, put a line here and divide into diagonals. 5 times 4 is 20, 6 times 4 is 24. Add along the diagonals, I have 0 here, 2 plus 4 is 6, then 2. So my answer is 260. Then I have how many zeros? 1, 2, 3. So I put 3 zeros. Then I have how many decimal digits after the decimal point? Just 2. 1, 2. So I count backwards 2 times. 1, 2. So my answer is 2600.00. And so our final answer is 2,600 liters for that. 2,600 naira rather for the next 400 liters. But how much is it going to pay in total? It's just to add 2,500 and 2,600, and we are going to get 5,100. I believe that is what you got as well. Excellent job, you, my friend. Now it's time for your homework. For that, you're going to read this question. The airport authority charges toll for each vehicle that passes the toll gate between the local airport and Murtala Mohammed International Airport. At this rate, for cars they pay 150, for jeeps they pay 200, for trucks and buses they pay 300. You have to find the amount collected for 45 cars, 47 jeeps, and 20 trucks. Copy this question down in 30 seconds. Alrighty then, you are welcome back. Now I believe you're expecting that we're going to move to Magic Tuesday. Well, I'm sorry, I have good news and I have not so good news. So I'll start with the not so good news. And that is that we've come to the end of our Magic Tuesdays. All that we have learnt, we are going to be practicing them on Monday's math-a-thons. But the good news is that I've got something even better than Magic Tuesdays. And I call that the Thursday teasers. It's going to be interesting, and I'm sure that you can't wait to get started, as I cannot wait to get started. That will be until Thursday. For now, I will hand you over to Uncle Popo for the general studies lesson. Till I come your way next time, remain wonderful mathematicians.
Hello, pupils. You are welcome to General Studies class. I am Uncle Popo. Uncle Popo is here.
I am also here.
Good. We are here together.
100% attention.
Brilliant one. 100% attention is what I want you to give me in today's lesson. Our subject for today is social studies. Social studies is the subject for today. Now, before we go into today's lesson, I want to ask you just this question. So, mention 5 minerals that we have in Nigeria. Just mention. Okay, good. And I could perceive that some people were saying some examples of minerals like Fanta, Coke, Mirinda, and so on. So let me tell you, all those ones are not minerals we are referring to. The ones you've mentioned are soft drink, so they are not minerals that Nigeria is blessed with. So in today's lesson, we will look at some of those minerals that we are talking about. Our topic for today is resource development. Say that. Resource development. The learning objectives. By the end of the lesson, you should be able to define natural resources and list the natural resources and how they can be developed. And lastly, you should be able to state the uses of natural resources. Now, resource development. Resource development is the process of transforming natural resources from their raw state to usable forms. Let me take that again. Resource development is the process of transforming natural resources from their raw state to usable forms. Like all the beverages that we drink, you know, we have some raw materials that they use in making those beverages. So they transform the raw materials into usable forms, and we could have different beverages that we take. So it was at the initial stage raw material. So that's what we are talking about when we say resource development. So transforming natural resources from their raw state to usable forms. Like this timber now, this is in their raw state. Now, after being transformed, you can use it to build houses, use it from it, we can produce books, use it for furniture and so on. So Now let's look at natural resources. Natural resources are the things provided by nature in our environment. They are the things provided by what? Nature. Say that. Nature. What do I mean? That means those things we are talking about were not made by man. They were not made by man. We just have this. It's just a blessing. We could have those things in our community, in our environment, in our country. Just a blessing from God. So it is not that it was the ability or the initiative of certain group of people that made those things into being. So they are the things provided by nature in our environment. So we shall see all those things we are talking about. Now, types of natural resources in Nigeria. Different types of natural resources in Nigeria. Now, when I started, we talked about minerals. The first one is minerals. We want to talk about it. And I told you those examples that you gave, this Fanta, Coke, they are soft drinks, they are not minerals. Let's look at examples of minerals now. Minerals. When we say minerals, they are in solid, liquid, and gaseous form, and they are the deposit. We have, like, let's look at some of the examples, like petroleum. That's one example. Petroleum is an example of mineral. Don't forget, I said minerals could be in solid form, it could be in liquid or gaseous form. So we have example like petroleum. That's one example of mineral. And we also have example like limestone. Who can tell me what we use limestone to produce? Oh, good. I have brilliant children in this class. Limestone are used to produce cement. The cement we are using in making concrete, in building our houses. So the raw material for it is limestone. This is one of the examples of minerals. This is in solid form. Petroleum, I said before, that is in liquid form. Now let's look at another one. We have tin, and mostly we get tin from jaws. We get tin from jaws. So this is an example of minerals. Another one is coal, and mostly we get coal. Which state? You can tell me. From Enugu. So we have much of it at Enugu State. So these are another example of mineral, coal. Another one is columbite. This is another good example of mineral. Let's look at another one. Now we have talked about natural resources that are in minerals form. We have looked at that. We have some that we are blessed with. We have some on the land. And let's look at those ones. These are the resources found on the country's land. What are they? We have the forest. Not all countries have forests like we have in Nigeria. So it's a blessing, because in some countries they don't have all these trees, forests like this form. It's not the same way we have it in every country in the world. So it's just a blessing. Forest, we get that one on the land. Likewise, we have wood and timber. We are blessed having wood, having timber in our forest. So that's another good example. Not every country in the world is blessed with this kind of timber. Now let's look at water resources. We have looked at the minerals in liquid, solid, and petroleum form. Another one, the minerals, the natural resources we have on the land. Now to water resources. Water resources, the example of water resources are, we have fishes and other sea animals. Fishes and other sea animals. We can get that one. Likewise, the water, the streams, rivers, oceans, seas is another one. So let's look at the uses of natural resources. Uses of all these natural resources. One, development of the nation. That's one of the uses. These natural resources help to develop the nation. That is why some people outside the country Nigeria always insists that Nigeria is blessed and we're supposed to have to be richer than most countries in the world. Why? Because of these natural resources that we are blessed with. So, and they are hoping that with those natural resources, our country should have been developed more than this. So that's why they are saying we are richer. Nigeria is richer than most countries in the world. So that is talking about development of the nation. That's one of the uses. Next one is provision of goods and services. Provision of goods and services. All the three levels, the primary, the secondary, and tertiary institution, they are into provision of goods and some are into servicing. So provision of goods and services is another one of the uses of natural resources. Next one is improvement of the welfare of the citizens. Improvement of the welfare of the citizens. You know, we have different people that are employed in different categories. Some, when we talk about those that are in mining, we have people working there. In textile industry, we have people working there. At where they are refining our petroleum to, we have different people. So that's also to do with improvement of the welfare of the citizen. Through that, when you are employed, we have people that will be taking care of themselves and the country will also benefit. The next one is provision of employment. Yes, this is very clear that many people will be employed in different categories, maybe at primary level, as secondary, at tertiary. Those are mining the gold, those are refining our petroleum. We have different categories at which people will be gainfully employed. So that's another benefit to the country. Next one is provision of some goods for foreign exchange. We are also into exporting some of our goods. So we have some of the natural resources we are blessed with in Nigeria that other countries will be needing. So it offers opportunity for our country to export goods to another country. So in today's lesson, we have looked at resource development, and you were told that resource development is the process of transforming natural resources from their raw state to usable forms. And we talked about natural resources, that they are the things provided by nature in our environment. Then we looked at types of natural resources in Nigeria. We talked about minerals, and that one could be in the solid, liquid, or solid, liquid, and gaseous form. And we have examples like petroleum, tin, coal, limestone, and so on. We have some on the land, the forest, timber, herbs, sand, rocks, animals, and so on. Likewise, water resources, fishes, and other sea animals. The water, we have streams, rivers, oceans. Then uses of natural resources or benefit of these natural resources. We talked about development of the nation, provision of goods and services, improvement of the welfare of the citizens, provision of employment, provision of some goods for foreign exchange. Now it's time for evaluation. Evaluation time. Good. So now this is where I will know you are really giving me your 100. If you have really given me your 100% attention. Questions. I have just 3 questions. Question number 1. What are natural resources? Question number 2. List 3 examples of natural resources that are minerals. List 3 examples of natural resources that are minerals. And the number 3, state uses. State 2 uses of natural resources. Your time starts. You have just 40 seconds. Your time starts now. Eyes on me. Uncle Popo is here. I believe you are still there. So let's mark together. Question number 1. What are natural resources? Natural resources are the things provided by nature in our environment. 2. List 3 examples of natural resources that are minerals. Examples, we have petroleum, tin, coal, limestone, columbite. So pick any of the 3, you are very correct. Uses of say 2 uses or benefits of natural resources. 1, development of the nation, provision of goods and services, improvement of the welfare of the citizens, provision of employment, and so on. Mark accordingly and rate yourself. We have come to the end of today's lesson. Until next time, next lesson, Uncle Popo says, keep on studying. Bye.
My wonderful pupils, we have come to the end of another interesting edition on The Classroom in Your Home.
An interesting one indeed. We hope that you have enjoyed our lessons for the day. They've been interestingly packaged. We also enjoyed ourselves learning with you and teaching you as well. Now, you have assignments. Ensure that you do them. The online assessments are also there. The link for today's online assessment is bit.ly/LASUBEB lesson 80. bit.ly/LASUBEB lesson 80. Do not forget that you can also access all the other online assessments that we have had since the beginning of this program using the link bit.ly/LASUBEB tests.
Taking the online assessment is based on if you have access to either your daddy's, your mommy's, your uncle's, or your auntie's Android or smartphones. If not, you don't have a problem. Just send your questions, your comments, and your assignment to 081 5086 5663. Please, the number again is 081 5086 5663. Please do not call that number. SMS and WhatsApp messages only.
All the lessons taught in the classroom in your home are on LASUBEB YouTube channel for you to watch. Subscribe to LASUBEB YouTube channel to get notification when new videos are uploaded. The classroom in your home could be watched live on Facebook through the page showing on the screen.
Till our next lesson when we will meet again for another beautifully packaged edition. Please make sure you do your homework.
Remember to wash your hands regularly.
Study hard and
Stay safe.
LASUBEB,
Leave no child behind.